when news broke that Brett James, one of Nashville's most celebrated songwriters, had been killed in a tragic plane crash. The shockwave rippled far beyond Music City because Brett was not just another name in the credits. He was a man whose words had carried millions of people through heartbreak, hope, faith, and love, and whose songs had turned into anthems of an entire generation of country fans. On that fateful Thursday morning, Brett, age 57, departed from John C. Tune Airport in Nashville aboard his sleek Cirrus SR22T, a small private aircraft he often used for short trips across the region heading toward western North Carolina. But somewhere near Franklin, above the rolling hills not far from Iotla Valley Elementary School, something went terribly wrong, and the aircraft plummeted into a field, leaving no survivors and sparking questions that investigators are still trying to answer. In the hours that followed, the music world was plunged into mourning because Brett James was more than just a songwriter. He was a storyteller who walked away from a secure future in medicine to chase a dream that many thought was impossible. A leap of faith that led him to pen more than 500 recorded songs, over 40 of which climbed into the top 10, and some like Jesus Take the Wheel, sung by Carrie. Underwood went on to define careers and win Grammys. His journey began with a restless soul who traded medical textbooks for guitar strings, betting everything on his belief that music was his true calling. And it turned out to be one of the most consequential gambles in modern country music. Because for decades afterward, artists from Tim McGraw to Martina McBride, from Kenny Chesney to Kelly Clarkson, would turn to Brett James to translate their feelings into lyrics that millions could sing along to. That is why this crash feels so unreal to fans and peers alike. One moment he was a presence, still creating, still inspiring, still mentoring young songwriters in Nashville, and the next moment his voice was silenced by tragedy. Witnesses near the crash site described a terrifying sound in the sky, the sputter of an engine, the sudden descent, and then the deafening silence. After the impact, and though emergency responders rushed to the scene, the wreckage left no room for hope. The National Transportation Safety Board quickly launched an investigation, analyzing weather patterns, mechanical records, and the flight path. But answers will take time, leaving a grieving industry to wrestle with the suddenness of the loss. In Nashville, tributes poured in almost instantly. Artists posting old photos, songwriters remembering writing sessions that turned into lifelong friendships, and fans sharing memories of how his songs had guided them. Through breakups, weddings, funerals, and everything in between. Carrie Underwood, who owes part of her meteoric rise to the song. Brett wrote, shared words of heartbreak, calling him a rare gift, while other stars echoed the same sentiment. Brett James was the man you called not just because he could write a hit, but because he could listen, because he could pull emotions from the raw edges of real life and shape them into melodies that felt eternal. To put his legacy into perspective, Brett James had more than 110 million albums recorded with his songs on them, a staggering achievement that few songwriters in any genre could dream of. And that means even though his life ended abruptly in a plane crash, his voice will continue to echo in arenas, in headphones, on radios, and in the quiet comfort of people's lives for decades to come. The irony of his passing is that Brett often wrote about fragility, about faith in the face of tragedy, about surrendering control when life becomes overwhelming, and now his fans are clinging to those very lyrics as they mourn him. The story of his plane crash is more than just another accident report. It is a sobering reminder of how fleeting life can be, how someone who woke up to chase the sky in the morning could be gone before noon, leaving behind a trail of unfinished songs, grieving family, and an industry that will never forget him. As investigators dig into the wreckage, the human story remains larger than any technical detail. Brett James was a husband, a father, a friend, and a mentor, and Nashville will feel the emptiness of his absence in every writing room, every stage, every award show, where his name used to be read aloud with reverence. For fans watching this story unfold, it is impossible not to think about the fragility of life, about how even the brightest talents are not immune to tragedy, and about how the songs he left behind are now transformed into his final legacy, a collection of stories that will outlive the man who wrote them. The field in Franklin where the plane went down is quiet now, marked by investigators, flags and scorched earth, but in living rooms, cars and concert halls, Brett James's music is playing louder than ever, each lyric carrying new weight, each chorus now infused with the memory of the man who gave them to the world. In the end, this is not just a story about a crash. It is about the fragility of dreams, the resilience of art, and the cruel truth that sometimes the storytellers leave before their stories are done. And yet the songs remain, waiting to be sung, keeping alive the legacy of Brett James, a songwriter whose plane may have fallen, but whose voice will never truly be silenced.